right.
Welcome back, hooligans, to our YouTube channel. We hope you are having a blessed morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you're watching this. And today we are going to be talking about, because if you haven't checked out our pod actually this week, we're reviewing Sonic 2, and that's going to segment into what we're talking about today, which is why, because video game movies have a consensus of not working. This is kind of their whole deal. They've been failures at the box office adaptations of video games. Why has there been recent success in video games, and why is Sonic, out of all franchises, like coming out of its shell and actually working in the movie industry?
I feel like I have a very good answer for this.
I agree.
Well, then you go first, bro.
I have a 10-page essay typed out in MLA format.
So I feel like the main reason a lot of the video game movies flop is because they rely too much on the video game story. Like they go almost not scene for scene, but as far as the story goes, they hit every single check mark. And really, I feel like in order for the video game movie to be successful, it has to have its own story, you know. So like Sonic, I guess the games had it did have a story, and it wasn't like a super strong story. You know what I mean?
No, you just triggered every Sonic fan
No,
ever, bro.
it wasn't
we just got like 80 dislikes.
It wasn't like a story game like The Last of Us, where you're just
It wasn't overly complicated.
right. And they did follow what story it did have, but then they added their own part. And I think the same thing happened with, for example, with like Angry Birds. You know, because Angry Birds was really successful. And I feel like it's because they added their own story to it, you know what I mean? But I feel like other movies, say like Mortal Kombat or what's another video game movie that came out?
Uncharted?
Yeah, Uncharted. I feel like they all relied too heavily on the game, if that makes sense.
I'm gonna agree with you there. I think video games that are overly complicated, like you mentioned, The Last of Us and God of War and probably Ghost of Tsushima in the future. There's just so much to it, you know. Like there's like the video game itself is already a movie for it. You know what I mean? So there's really no point to delve into the story. For example, like Resident Evil. I don't know how y'all feel about Resident Evil movies. Like I like watching them. They're really good, like action-driven movies, but there's actually shit. Because the lore is already in the games. Like, you just have to follow along with the story in the game. And they're trying to like crunch it down into a 3-hour movie at the most, and it's for people who don't play video games.
It's almost like, this is gonna be a kind of a rough comparison, but it's like book adaptations, or I mean movie adaptations of books, if that makes sense. Usually those are a little better, but the books are always better. Like pretty much anyone can agree with that. The books are almost always better, and I feel like that's gonna be the same case with video games. What?
I was just gonna say, it's like reading a script. Like if it's based off a book, all they have to do is read the book. But a video game, like a story-based game, that's like 20+ hours of gameplay. Right. You're not gonna ask every single cast member to devote 20+ hours to play this one game.
Right.
Not only that, but the hours you put into a video game, you're there for 20 hours learning about all these characters, learning about the lore, learning about the world, and you're asking Hollywood to put 20 hours worth of character development into a 2 or 3 hour movie.
Right.
It just, and especially that's why a lot of like people that are fans of the games don't like these adaptations, because they're butchering, they're watering down the characters that they know and love, that they've known for like 20+ hours over 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I think personally the reason that they don't work as well as some movies is because, like, if you look at the Hunger Games, they like added on to the book series so well that people just consider 2 and 2 equals. Like everyone knows the books are a little bit better, but the movies are just as great and helped push it into the mainstream just as much as the books themselves were.
Shout out to her.
I read the first 2 Hunger Games, and I can agree. I really don't think they're that much off.
Yeah, but that is because it is going from written word to where you have to imagine it to something you can visually see on a screen. Going from video game to movie, you're going from a visual thing to a different visual thing. And I think that's harder to transfer and make it different and differentiate than it would be to go from book to movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it messes up, because we already get to see what the game designers meant for us to see. versus if it were to be a book to a movie, we just have a mental picture, and like our perspectives are going to be could be totally different from what the original author had in mind. So the directors get to kind of pave their way for us to show us what it meant, and it gives the books more meaning now that you can see something on screen. So they kind of coexist together. But going from video game to a movie, you already have this visualization on what it's supposed to be, what the story's about. You can already see exactly what the designer meant. But whenever you go to a movie, they basically have to scrap everything that they saw in the video games and accept this is something completely different, and that really the only similar things are going to be the character names. And I think that's where it kind of differentiates there.
It's like,
but I think that's part of the reason why Sonic works so well is because it's such an old game that it didn't have a lot of like the realistic, real life graphics that you could see. So going from an 8-bit to a 3D model, like realistic-ish 3D model, and having it interact with a hyper-real human is like a different concept for that franchise as well.
I also think it works really well in movie form because it's like Mario. Everyone knows Mario has to save the princess. That's the whole premise, and it's super simple. Sonic is fighting Dr. Robotnik like almost every game he's in. That's the whole premise. So like, just don't screw up those things, and you'll be fine, basically. Which they did in the first movie, but then they took the risk of expanding the universe, which has paid off for them.
There's two very good examples off of that. It's the
Don't bring up the show, bro.
the Super Mario movie, the one with live action.
That's live action though,
Shut up, bitch. So was Sonic. Anyways.
but it was still animated. They were actual plumbers in that movie.
Yeah, but how? No, Sonic was just as much live action as the Super Mario.
Thanks, buddy.
Human-wise, but since it was animated, they had a lot more freedom to do different animation stuff with the
Anyways,
characters.
moving on to my next video game example movie, based off a game that doesn't have much lore in the beginning, Doom. The Doom movie that came out, the very first one, it was kind of based on the first video game for Doom. And Doom didn't really have much lore in the beginning. It was just fight the devil, you know? And they essentially butchered the fuck out of that in the movie. It wasn't a good movie at all. Like, it was just good for action, that's it.
Okay.
That's why I also said if you don't fuck those things up, which they did,
Yeah.
and Sonic has not
Chief.
fucked it up.
Funny comment.
So now that we have, so go
video
ahead.
game movies are gonna continue to get better, but I don't think they'll ever beat the original game.
I think I agree with you, boy.
I don't know. I think the Sonic movies have beaten the original
Okay.
Sonic games.
So now that we're off that, I just wanted to look ahead. Which video game movies you think are going to be successful in the future? Just name one. Don't go off a bunch because I don't want.
What video game movies are currently in development right now?
Metal War.
I don't know.
Oh fuck!
God
Well,
of
since you
War
asked, I'm
is
gonna go ahead and
almost
I'm gonna go ahead and say mine.
There's
I have some high hopes for that new Super Mario movie. Number one, because it's animated.
There's a
It's
Super
not
Mario
some
movie coming out? Oh yeah, I forgot
Chris
the one with
Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt and Anya Taylor-Joy and Charlie Day as Luigi. That's gonna be so fun. I think it's gonna be a fun family movie, and I'm really excited because it's animated. It's fully animated. They're not trying to do any live action, so they're gonna have complete freedom to do.
It's Illumination?
And yeah, I
Never
like
mind.
Illumination. You don't like Illumination?
No, they suck.
They put out some bangers like Despicable Me.
1,
2 and 3.
1,
2 and 3.
1.
And Minions.
2 and 3.
Those aren't
I-
bangers, bro.
I like the
Minions is
first two.
fucking-
I really,
Do you agree?
I really like their art style. But anyway,
I like their animation style, but other than that, they've been putting out some real stinkers.
Lately, yes, but it's also backed by Nintendo, and from Nintendo doesn't usually put out shit. Not
You
that
forget
I've seen
about
in
the
a long
original
time.
Mario shows, bro.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago. I don't remember the last time they put out something that was really bad. So that's what I'm actually kind
But-
of excited about. I think it'd be good.
I'm gonna be 100% honest here. I'm not looking forward to too many video game movies, for the main reason of what I was saying earlier, where the video games did such a good job of showing you what they wanted, that I don't think the movies could be any better without being a shot-for-shot remake, and I don't think, and I think literally they could only get worse than the game. I don't think there's a way for them to be average or less. As I was saying, I think even the Ghost of Tsushima movie, I think
Did you say Tsushima?
I want to beat your fucking ass, Rocha.
I can say what I want. It's a free country.
Motherfucker said, Chama.
Chunka. Anyways, go ahead, my brother.
I think even that movie is almost set up to fail because of how good the game was. And
Yeah.
I think that's how a lot of these, like God of War, I think that's also one where the video games are so iconic. I think that's set up to just be a fuck up too. Same way Halo just came out and fucking bombed. I think doing these really good video games into movies are basically being set up for failure. And I think
It's also-
where the video games that would blow up into good movies would be the smaller, lesser known ones.
It's also hard, especially with the shows, because how massive. Like the Halo show has like a $10 million budget, bro, but they only put it like the first episode. They put it all into one fucking battle, dog,
Yeah.
and then the
Yeah,
rest of it was
like-
just not good.
Like, I think movies like the video games that are set up best for movies are the ones that are more game driven and less story driven. Like to where they have some plot going on, but not so much that's the only thing that they focus on.
Yeah.
Sonic is a perfect example.
I
Even
think
with,
another good example would probably be like a Crash Bandicoot movie,
Yeah, I could see that.
where the actual game itself focuses a lot on like the games and mini games that you do, and a lot less on the overall lore. So if you were to see like a Crash animated movie, it would be pretty good, kind of like the Ratchet and Clank movie.
There
I
were-
think that's because since the game isn't super hyper focused on the lore, when the movie is, that's when it can improve. You know what I mean?
but the Ratchet and Clank movie was just pure like it was like most of the cutscenes of the game
Really?
When did that come out? I didn't see it.
Came out
a while back.
in-
Yeah,
Well,
while
I
back.
feel like Ratchet and Clank has a higher potential of being a good movie than like Ghost of Tsushima.
But it wasn't though.
I don't know why that's
Bro, you're fucking messing, Rocha. You're like, guys, my left arm hurts a lot. Mom.
But would you agree? I feel like if they redid Ratchet and Clank, I feel like it would have a higher potential of being a better movie.
As long as I don't make it, which we don't talk about. We didn't talk about this. Sonic, not purely, but Sonic, if it had its old design, dude, would not be where it is today.
Dude,
Oh yeah, 100%. It would not have a second movie, and if it did, it would not be popular.
I want to see Tails
They-
like that.
I was
They completely
talking.
saved their franchise.
I was talking to Yaditsa and my brothers on the way back, and I was like, I'm surprised that no one has gone back and remade the entire movie with the original Sonic character model.
I want to see that.
And then I thought about it, and I was like, I want to be the man to do it. I want to be the first person to go back and remake the Sonic movie with the original character model.
Did you know that animation studio that redid the model shut down?
Really?
But
Yeah, they didn't have enough money for like in the budget for anyone, like no salaries or nothing. Apparently, the VFX industry is really like they don't pay their employees enough.
Why do you think I'm not in it? Why do you think I'm here talking to a podcast? Anyways,
I like doing this because my friends are on it.
Yeah, okay.
Alright,
Never-
shut up.
Never mind.
Shut up, liar.
Fuck you guys. I hate doing this shit with y'all. I hate coming from work. I want to sleep.
Go to bed then, bro. Sleepy boy.
I
Alright.
stay asleep, Noah.
And I think, with that being said, Noah, did you have any closing thoughts?
No, that's pretty much everything we've covered. What do y'all think about the future of video game movies? Do y'all think that Sonic is a one-hit wonder? I know they're a little hit or miss, but like, do you think this is the new trend that's gonna be video game movies are gonna go in the right direction now, or do y'all think this is just a little one-off? Sound off in the comments. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, follow all of our socials at the Hooligan Hangout.
Dude, you don't
And,
have to say that we're on YouTube. It's all in the description. Stupid.
You dumb bitch.
Get off
Well,
podcast mode.
everything's in the description, and make sure you say hi to your moms for us, and we'll see y'all later.